Hey, DUALpreneur, do you want to become an overnight success in 2023? Well, I have the guest that's going to help us learn how to do that. Hey there, Dr. Paul Q. Fortson. Hi.
Madam Money Jackson. Hey there.
Hey there, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I feel great. Today's the best day of my life.
There you go. That's what I want to hear. I stole that from you. You do realize that. Absolutely. Everybody asks me,
I
how are you
think you
doing
did
today?
steal it from me.
I did. I did. Among other things that I steal from you, especially the topic we're going to talk about today, because I promise you, I gave you credit the first two times.
Uh-huh.
My last speaking engagement, it was all my idea. It's all mine. So
It's all yours.
it was all mine. Sorry. But yeah, we're going to talk
Love it.
about how to become an overnight success because most people, that have known you for years, you just
Mhm.
came out there and like, bam, like you were just the man. And they were like, wow, he's just famous all of a sudden. But there were some things that went into it. We're going to talk about that. But before we go into that, let's talk a little bit about you and what makes you so amazing, other than you being
Oh
my
wow.
BFF, and my big brother, other than that. But tell us a
Absolutely.
little bit about you and what is it that you do for your job?
Well, I'm chief operating officer for a nonprofit here in the city of Atlanta, Paradise Community Development Corporation. Where we do a lot of community impact work in the metro Atlanta area. As a matter of fact, we're working on and looking forward to having an amazing 2023. This is already started off as an amazing year. I'm also a minister at Paradise Church, and I'm community liaison for one of the local elected officials here in the metro area. I like to say that I'm a faith and justice professional. That that I like to make sure that this idea of social justice and faith in what it is that you're doing is something that I promote. I'm a faith and justice professional, as they call it.
Got you. So as a justice professional with what you do, faith and justice, um, what are some of the things that you do as a community liaison? What does that look like? What is that?
What I do in that particular position is I have an opportunity to go out into the community and to convey this message of social justice and restorative justice, and as well as being a part of the community. I know a lot of times when we look at certain organizations or when we look at certain people, they almost seem untouchable. They a lot of times they seem, maybe out of reach. But I'm one of those people that go out into the community and shake hands, as they say, shake hands and kiss babies, and and I love to just meet people where they are and see where I can be of help, and to see where the different organizations that I not only partner with, but different organizations that I have familiar relationship with and partnership relationships with. And how can we be a help? How can we be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem? How can we help advance people's lives, people who are hurting, people who are most in need? I believe that is what Jesus spent 85% of his ministry doing, helping people in need.
Absolutely. And so that ties into a little bit about what you do for your side business. So you actually have a side business. You are a dualpreneur. And so let's talk
Absolutely.
about that. What is it that you do for or what is your side business, or what is it that you do for your side business?
Well, my side business, I'm a consultant, a ghostwriter, a business strategist. I'm one of those people that you call when you have an idea, and I help bring it to fruition through business plan development, through strategy development, in my consulting and business strategist position. But in my ghostwriting, if say for instance you have a speech, I write for speeches for public officials. I write for, get this, ministers, other ministers, but also I write for some of the local mayors in the city, things of that nature, and we shape speeches, we shape narratives. Get that speak the language of justice and faith. And so a lot of times when people in certain positions, they have very busy lives. And what they'll do is normally they'll come and they'll tell me what their heart, how they're feeling, what message is it that they're looking to convey. And what I do is just shape it, make it palatable, make it hit, so to speak. So that's what I do.
So you're that writer that the president doesn't create his own speeches. There is a writer that writes the speeches.
Absolutely.
And then the president. So you are that person that writes those speeches. You do it for
Absolutely.
mayors. You said for other preachers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done it for a few of my clients when we had to do narratives on their websites, right, when we have to do other things. So that's really cool. And I love the business. I have connected you with several of my clients with business writing. I mean, you helped me write my own business plan for like 3 of my businesses.
Wow.
Thank
you for that shout out. I appreciate that plug.
You did. Let me tell you, it was one time when you were helping me do my business plan. And I was talking about all the things I want to do with my business. And you were like, well, let's think about this. You want to do this. And how is that going to shape? And how are we going to define that? And I said, well, then just take it out. And he was like, take it out? It doesn't work like that. Like, it's like Facebook. Put your face on the wall. Put your face in the book. It doesn't work like that.
It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work like that. And we argued, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that right there. I don't want to deal with those. I don't want to deal with that. You're like,
I love it.
But it was a great exercise to go through that. Anybody can write their own business plan, but when you have someone that can guide you and be strategic about it, that is what I found value in, writing the business plan, not for here and now, but what is it going to look like 10 years from now? What do I want it to look like? Do I want to work for myself forever, or do I want to be a business owner where I have people working for me so I can get my life freedom back, my time freedom back? So that's
and here's the other thing that I like to add when it comes to the business plan. It lays out the direction and gives directives as to where you want to go with your business. It is what I like to call the Bible of your business. It'll give you all of the direction and all of the right correction even. And I say that to say this, the business plan is also there to get you back on track when sometimes you veer off. Sometimes we get engaged in our businesses or whatever our DUALpreneur side hustles are, and we'll start out with one mission in mind. But then because of circumstances and other things that come before us, sometimes we'll get off pattern. Sometimes we'll get off track. And a business plan is an amazing way, as a matter of fact, an amazing way to make sure that we are actually achieving the goals and that we are on the track and hitting the milestones and benchmarks that we set for ourselves, because that's how we measure our success. And I say it all the time. If you can't manage it if you can't measure
it. Right. Exactly. What you get measured gets done. Absolutely. And I've used my business plan to refocus me and redirect me correct me. Because when I feel my business is going off ways and I'm feeling like this is not working, I have to refer back to my business plan to see what my ultimate vision was. And there are some things I may be doing that's not in line with my business plan. And so again, thank you for that. I have to give you a big shout out for that part of the service. Now, with what you do with social justice at your job and what you do with your side business, does working at your job help you, or how does it help you with your side business or to become a better business owner?
Well, I can think of several ways that it helps. One way, it gives you perspective and context. In my sense, or in my particular example, I work in a job that is consistent with what I do also as my side hustle. So it actually expands my perspective, and it gives me the opportunity to hear a number of perspectives. When you're in the community, you can hear the different narratives and stories of people, and it helps you. That helps in your writing. So if you can hear a variety of stories and not be locked into one box when it comes to the stories that people live, the stories of people's lives, then you can write in that manner. So it expands my perspective, but also it helps to make sure the lights stay on. You know, because every
There's that.
dualpreneur, right there, then there's that thing, and every dualpreneur knows that there are the ebbs and flows inside hustling, as we want to call it, in dualpreneuring. I just made up a term there. Uh, so every one of us knows of the ebbs and flows. Some days, I mean, the faucet is, flowing, and then some days the faucet is just dripping.
It's not even some days, some years.
Some years when
You
the faucet
know,
is just dripping.
and then
I say, if you have a dream, if you have a vision that has been placed inside your heart and in your spirit, that yes, you continue to pursue it. But that other job, that 9 to 5, as it were, it makes sure that you are able to meet your first responsibility, which is to yourself and your family. But it also helps you along the way to be able to keep your footing, to make sure you have a roof over your head and those kinds of things while you are becoming an overnight success. Hint, hint. While you're becoming an overnight success.
no, that's good because I interviewed my mentor Alfred Edmond, and he said, with Black Enterprise, SVP of Black Enterprise, and he said, Black Enterprise is not just my job. Black Enterprise is my number one and my largest client. And it is my job to make sure that they are served and that they are satisfied to a point where they want to renew my contract every year and then want to pay me more. And if I can't serve my largest client, then I'm not going to be able to serve other clients. And so
that's very wise. That's
very wise. That's why he is my mentor. Absolutely. So what are some of the challenges that you faced being a dualpreneur? I know a lot of people have different challenges, but what's your biggest challenge with working full time and also having your side business and making it all come together?
I think what my biggest challenge is time. I think it's time. The thing about having two, as it were, full-time clients is that you have to devote a certain amount of time to each one of them. And there are only a certain amount of hours in the day. You only have a certain amount of hours in a day. Usually what is most affected by that then becomes your sleep time. And so as we know, those of us who are dualpreneurs often don't get a lot of time to sleep, do we? So what we do is we have to try to find little moments in order to renew ourselves, because we know that sleep is that rejuvenating and renewing time. You have to have it if you're going to be successful. Right. And so that's probably my largest challenge. You have family and you have these other obligations, and somewhere you got to try to find another 3 to 4 hours outside of the 24 hours to try to get it out.
And it's not just about sleep, it's about rejuvenating, because our brain, when we are sleep deprived, it makes our brain dysfunctional. So we have to reset our brain so that we can be functional for every demand that we have in life, whether it's our family, our job, our side business or whatever. And this misnomer of, I'll sleep when I'm dead, you don't want to encourage death too soon by not sleeping. So,
Oh, that's good.
you
Like that.
know, you
Right, right,
know,
right.
I don't want to put it on myself too early. I want to be able
Mhm.
to live out my days and enjoy my
That's
life,
right.
see my fruits, bear the fruits. So it does require me to shut down. It does require me to have that rejuvenation. So that's very important that you said that
Absolutely.
sleep is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's just not finding the time to do it. So what are some of the advantages? And some of them are very obvious, but what are some of the advantages of having this side business, of being a dualpreneur?
Well, here is, I guess, my favorite advantage is freedom. It's the ability to determine my own destiny. It's the ability uh, to determine how my passion and dream is lived out uh, in the earth, in the world, and through me. I think the freedom to be able to determine how things go. I tell my staff all the time when my teams, when we get together, I say, hey, if you've ever sat in a workshop, if you've ever sat in a seminar, if you've ever sat in a session and you thought to yourself, well, if I was doing it, I would have kind of done it this way. I wouldn't have
Mhm.
quite done it that way. Or if you've ever, been in any kind of work setting or meeting setting, and you thought, well, if if I was doing it, I think maybe I would have done it this way.
Yeah.
Well, here is your opportunity to produce the perfect business, the perfect side gig. Here's your opportunity to produce the perfect workshop, seminar, training, whatever it is that you're doing. Here's your opportunity to produce the perfect one.
Mhm.
Now, will it be perfect? Maybe. Maybe. But on in your pursuit of perfection, will it be absolutely excellent? 100% yes. And so it's the freedom to be able to determine my own destiny and get this, in many instances, set my own schedule. So I love
Mhm.
that part about it as well, the freedom
Yeah.
to set
Once
my own.
you get to that point where you're able to set your own schedule, when you want to work, when you don't want to work, with our jobs, we're set schedule 8 to 4, 9 to 5,
That's
whatever that is. But as a dualpreneur, you can work around family, work around holidays, work around whatever. I tell people all the time that you've been banking up your PTOs all these years. It's time to use that PTO. It's
right.
time to use that paid time off, not just for vacation, not just when you're sick, but why not use that paid time off to work on your business, to grow your business? You're getting paid for the time off. So why not use that paid time off to work on your business during the day when you're the
That's
most
right.
refreshed, right?
That's
So I agree. And then of course, everybody's, advantage of being a dualpreneur is the money. Is that, with a job, there is a cap or limit of how much you can make. As an entrepreneur or as a dualpreneur, there is no cap. So that's why I tell businesses all the time it behooves you to hire dualpreneurs, because if you can't give them a raise, they can still make the extra
Mhm.
money.
That's right.
That's what I loved about being a doorpreneur. I didn't care what the raise was if I got a raise, because I still was able to set my raise based on my side business.
That's
So
right.
that was never an issue for me there. So that's amazing. So
And you
let's
get a
get
chance to give and you get a chance to give yourself your own Christmas bonuses. And
there. You go.
right. And your own good work. What do you call it? Good work or production bonuses. So
Yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, like when we initially started talking, a lot of people, and I saw some of your posts when you posted, your business. I'm in for business. You had a rebrand, or you introduced your brand out to the world, which is phenomenal. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. You just started doing this. They thought you just started doing this. Like everybody was just so amazed that you had this business. It was so successful. It was clean. It was consistent. And so, you know, everybody really considers you to be an overnight success. Like they went to bed and you were just, Paul Q, and then they Paul or Quentin. And then when they woke up, you were Dr. Paul Q. Fortson. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, a lot of people have that perspective of being an overnight success. And then everybody like, oh my God, I didn't know you do ghostwriting. I need a ghostwriter. Oh my
that's
God, I
right.
didn't know you did this. I need this. I know somebody that needs this. And you started getting lots of referrals. And, you and I understand this overnight success thing. There are several different types of overnight success. You have those people that go viral overnight
Mhm,
because of something that they post, which is atypical. I need
mhm.
people to understand that when you post something on social media and it goes viral, that is atypical.
That's
Out
right.
of a million people, maybe 10 will go viral. And out of a million posts, maybe 10 will go viral. So you have to think there's millions and millions of posts that's going out. That's why it looks like it's so many. But as far as your side business, no one knew you had a side business. Now you have a side business. And people are really trying to figure out, how do I become that overnight success? How do I get people to really, oh my God, see and then attract those customers? What is your perspective on an overnight success? And then how did you become the overnight success?
Well, uh, I I love this quote. There's a quote that popped in my head when you mentioned that, and it goes, "Success usually happens to those too busy to look for it." And it's slightly a misnomer, but yes, success usually happens to those who are too busy to look for it. Time passes quickly when you're working hard. And so, spoiler alert. I know our time is quickly wrapping up. Spoiler alert. This notion of overnight success is an urban legend, and it's very misleading. It should say how to become an overnight success, how it takes 20 years, 25 years to become an overnight success. Yeah, I'll say it's the everyday hustle that makes
Mhm.
you an overnight success. Um, Things change for you overnight when you work for it every single day. How about that?
Say that
Yeah,
again. Say
as
that again. That was
things
a
change for you overnight when you work for it every single day.
Let me tell you why that was so significant. I
Absolutely.
got to tell you why that's so significant,
Okay.
right? Because I'm about to go back on my health and wealth journey. It's all
Mhm,
about me in 2023, right?
mhm.
So I'm focusing on my health, I'm focusing on my wealth, and my wealth is not just about money. My
That's
wealth
right.
is my time, my moments that
Mhm,
I have. I need wealthy moments. I need to travel. I need to do certain things, right?
mhm,
I remember when I started working out, and it was every day I got up at, I think you remember because I think I complained to you about it like every single day. But I got up
right.
at 5 o'clock in the morning
Mhm,
and walked or a 5K, three
mhm,
miles, 3.2 miles every morning. I changed the way I ate. I did different things, but every single day I
mhm,
got up, regardless of how I felt. I
mhm,
got up and I walked 3.2 miles every single day.
mhm,
It was just one day. I went to bed sore. I was tired, whatever. I woke up the next morning, passed the mirror,
mm.
and was like, because I was like, who the hell is that? And I went back to the mirror and I saw a slimmer version of me. And it was like, I didn't see that chick yesterday.
Yeah,
But when I went to sleep and I woke up, I saw that slimmer version. And it wasn't because I went to sleep and it just happened. It was because of the things I was doing every single day.
that's right.
That moment when I woke up and saw that new version of me. So that's why that statement is so significant.
Absolutely. I think when you think about these overnight success, I was thinking about after you asked that question, I was thinking about these athletes who you never knew their name prior to them being either on some large college stage or on some large NFL or professional sports stage. And you say, oh my goodness, there's whomever. And man, he just came out of nowhere. But what you didn't see was all of those nights or all of those evenings where he was shooting free throws in his backyard or her backyard, or where they were practicing tennis serves all night long, or after school, go to school all day and then go and practice 1,000 serves or 1,000 football tosses so that they got a great spiral. By the time you saw them, they had put in so much work that you felt like they were overnight success.
Right.
But they had been working at this for years. I think in our DUALpreneur in the conference DUALpreneur, I gave the example of David when we talked about becoming overnight success, where we saw David when he killed Goliath. We always love that story of David versus Goliath, and how David took his slingshot and threw it and knocked him out and all of that good stuff. But what you did not see is the many, many years David, as a shepherd boy, had his slingshot as he was watching sheep. And as you know, sheep are not the most exciting animals to watch.
His one job was to keep them buggers alive, right?
Right. His one job was to keep those sheep alive. But most days, all he had to do was watch grass grow and then the sheep eat it. Like, I can imagine that he was a little bored sometimes. But can you imagine the many, many days, the thousands of times when he just wound up his slingshot and tossed it at a tree, or was throwing it at some object or some target, and it meant nothing. But by the time he was faced with his life's greatest challenge, he had tossed that slingshot. He had practiced that slingshot thousands upon thousands of times when no one was watching. But then finally, he had an opportunity to become an overnight success. And he became an overnight success. I'll say it one last time. Things change for you overnight. Only when you work for it every single day.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that want to start a business, and then if it doesn't work out the way they thought it should work out in like 2 or 3 days or a week or 2 months.
Right.
They're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It doesn't work. And then they move on to the next, not realizing that you got to put in the work. I was talking to several clients that get frustrated because they're not getting the sales right away, or they're not getting the clients right away. That your business is a child. It's like a child, right? So your child goes through several stages. Your child goes through that stage where it's completely dependent on you.
That's right.
Completely dependent. It cannot serve you. It cannot give you anything other than joy, that, oh, this is my baby, so cute, even if it's ugly. Oh, this is still my baby, right?
You can't say that. You can't say that.
All babies are beautiful, right?
All babies are beautiful.
All businesses are so beautiful, right?
I love it.
And so it's completely dependent on you.
That's
and then
right.
it gets to a point where they become somewhat self-sufficient, but they're still dependent on you. They can go to the bathroom themselves. They can feed themselves, but they still need you to provide food, shelter, clothing, all of that. And then there's a stage where they are self-sufficient enough to not be dependent on you, but they can take care of themselves, right? And then there's that stage where they are so self-sufficient that they can take care of you.
That's right.
Right? And so children, our kids, or we go through these stages of life. Our business is the same as a baby. It's the same as a child. Beginning stages, it is completely self-sufficient. That's why I say you must be a DUALpreneur, because your new business, your new baby, is not going to be able to sustain your lifestyle because it's infantile. It's going to be completely dependent on you and what you're able to give it. And eventually your business will be able to be somewhat self-sufficient. It can pay its own bills, but it's probably not able to pay you a salary.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You're still going to have to invest in it. You're still going to have to do things for it.
That's right. You know what that made me think of? That made me think of the fact that most of us rarely hear about the months and the years of hard work that it goes into a successful business venture. So you rarely hear about the major disasters and then the major miracles that have to occur just to keep that business afloat, just to keep it going. When you said that, you're going to have to invest in it. Most of us, when you talk about being an overnight success, or even when you've seen someone who's been working at this for years, you don't ever see that second mortgage sometimes that they had to take out, or sometimes you don't see, where they had to eat bologna sandwiches,
Look, mayonnaise sandwiches,
you heard
right?
me, where they couldn't get Starbucks every day. They had to go get some Folgers, because they were taking every dime. They were taking all of their resources, every extra resource, in order to make sure that this business stays afloat. And you're right. It's going to be sometimes, especially in its infant years, it's going to be dependent totally on you to make sure that it lives, that it survives, and that it stays afloat. And then after many days of work, it can become self-sufficient.
And when we say days, we're speaking like in Bible terms, right?
a thousand years. 1,000 years.
One day, right? When we say days, it could be days for atypical people, but it usually takes years. Even with Madam Money, a lot of people think that Madam Money just all of a sudden hit the scene. She's on radio shows. She's on Al Jazeera. She's on that. I've been Madam Money for over 20 years.
I've seen it.
You've lived through it with me.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's been times I wanted to knock that chick off. I ain't want to be Madam Money anymore, right? But it takes years to get to that. And then when you have that Goliath moment, I've had numerous Goliath moments. I'm going to have even more Goliath moments where because I did it so much, I was prepared when the opportunity hit, when Al Jazeera called, when Fox News called, when Black Enterprise called, when I get opportunity to speak at these different things, when Get Up with Erica Campbell calls, when Ricky Smiley Morning Show calls. I was prepared for that, but it wasn't because I just woke up and it happened. Right. I had to put in the work.
Absolutely. And it is that work that pays the dividends. Usually, and I'm not wishing calamity or doom or failure on any person, but those atypical cases are like winning the lottery. How many? What do they say? Most of those people who win the lottery are broke within 5 years.
5 to 7 years.
5 to 7 years. And I think when you work hard for something, you take ownership of it, and you just really pick up the shovel, and you just get in there. And as I like to tell my staff, get in there and dig that ditch. Get in there, dig the ditch. It becomes a source of pride, and it becomes something that sort of emanates out of your pores, so to speak. You can do it. I ask a lot of times my students, I say, what is the one thing that you can do if I woke you up out of a dead sleep? If you was sleep snoring, sheep, here we go with these sheep again, jumping counting sheep at night. But if I woke you up, what could I wake you up out of a dead sleep and you could just go for it? Those are the kinds of things that you have to work on for years. You're gifted, you're talented, you're anointed, but you still got to do the work.
Absolutely. I love it. So we got to wrap up. We can, there's so many.
You mean to tell me we don't have another hour?
No, we do not. As much as we may love your voice, we still got to implement some of the things that you shared. So if people want to connect with you, to learn more about you, to even work with you, how can they get in contact with you, or even follow you on social media?
Well, if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me Instagram, Facebook, Dr. Paul Q. If you want to go to my website and check out what I do, maybe an appointment, maybe it's something I can do to assist or help you. And I'm speaking to you too, but I'm also speaking to your viewers. But if it's something I can do to assist you, that would be www.woken, drpaulq.com. Have an amazing website, interactive website. You can get in touch with me there, see all the stuff I do. I see somebody smiling real big right there about their website. And
I wonder who did your website.
I wonder who did that website. I wonder.
And
then
just for clarity, that's DRPAULQ, the letter Q.com. So Dr. DRPAULQ.com. Okay.
That's right. And if you just want to send me an email, if that's your preferred platform to try to communicate and connect with me, then you can email me at pqfortson.fbs, Fortson Business Solutions, FBS at gmail.com. I'll say that one more time. PQ Fortson, FORTSON .FBS at gmail.com. And we can communicate, connect, and talk that way, and maybe find a way to make you an overnight success. How about that?
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for joining us for the new DUALpreneur podcast. Everybody go check out Dr. Paul Q. He can help you with something, whether it's your business plan, whether it's ghostwriting, whether it's, whatever it is, just check him out, Dr. Paul Q. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We look forward to having you again so we can continue our other conversation that would have taken us another freaking hour.
Another hour to do it. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on, Ms. Jackson. One of my favorite people. Definitely respect and admire the work that you're doing with the DUALpreneur and all of your different platforms that you have. For those of us who are working hard every day to become an overnight success, appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you. And everybody, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the DUALpreneur podcast. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Check you out later.